So hello, good afternoon. Before we start, quick question. Do we have any international guests here? So for us it's a question whether we should run it in English or in German. Yeah, okay, so we do it in English. Great. All right, good afternoon, Graz. It's Friday afternoon, 4:30 p.m. I know you're all very excited about this presentation, and yes, you should be. So today we will talk about consumer-first marketing, and we will talk about the biggest challenge in marketing that we all face as a marketer, the entitled consumer. So Sina and I will talk about some tips and tricks for you, how you can move your marketing towards a consumer mindset. And then Sina later will have some actionable insights from the work that she and her team is delivering day in and day out for all of the Zalando customers. So when we look into marketing and the budget situation, then actually it's still that the majority of the marketing budgets are dedicated towards mass marketing vehicles. So in this world, we still send out more communication as we have ever done before. Yes, there are more channels, but why do we bombard consumers with such a broadcast type of communication? And analysts actually found out that from 2015 and 2016, the sheer volume of marketing volume overall globally has increased by another 19%. That's really a lot. 19% increased still. And again, the majority of that is actually towards mass marketing vehicles when we execute marketing more or less in a broadcast way. So I'm sure we all agree, well, hold on, we do want to be more targeted. But the situation is that it's not that easy in the first place to be more targeted, to be more relevant. And when we look into the end consumer situation today, then we all know that customer behaviors have changed dramatically over the last few years, and interactions nowadays are happening simultaneously, and they happen in micro moments. So obviously these are new implications and new challenges for us as a marketer. So the question will be, what opportunities do we have in this more sophisticated environment nowadays, and actually how can we move away from a pure focus on these mass marketing vehicles, what is obviously also quite of a short-term perspective. So what we have done at Selligent, we have published a report quite recently to look into specifically the DACH situation. So how does the current state of online marketing look like here in Austria? Then, hey, there's no surprise. 7 of 10 consumers today have a mobile device and they go online every day. 4 of 10 consumers today actually review products on their mobile device before they make a purchase. But only 1% of the marketing budget is actually dedicated towards the mobile channel. And secondly, the marketing budgets are shifting. So by 2019, the predictions are here for Austria that online marketing budgets will overhaul the print marketing budget. And there are some positive aspects here as well, because so the advertising area is an area that has seen a dramatic increase with a pure budget, and that is certainly around the developments of programmatic advertising, for example. But as we all know, customer journeys itself, they are not written in stone. They are not static. So we talked about consumer interactions are happening simultaneously at the same time across different channels. And consumers today, they actually act and transact with brands in micro moments. And what is quite interesting, so consumers in that regions, 68% of them are actually prepared to get rid of their loyalty that they have with a particular brand if there is another brand that actually delivers great value in that micro moments. So if a consumer is now searching and has a particular interest or a particular need, then they are prepared to get rid of a specific loyalty card that they have with a brand if there is another brand who really delivers some relevant communication when they receive these signals. And the fourth trend is obviously content. So we all know about the rise of live content with the likes of Snapchat and Instagram. But when we talk about marketing one-to-one communication, then contextual marketing comes into play as well. So leveraging live information like the great weather that is today in Graz, and ultimately apply that into marketing communication as well. So overall, there are obviously some new dynamics in the world that we operate at. So the question is now, when we talk about consumer first, how actually can we apply such a mindset? And what does consumer first at the end of the day mean? So consumer first marketing is really, as the name says, putting customer first and let customers dictate what the marketing communication should be all about. So what is needed? It's needed that we need to have a fundamental shift from a traditional marketing approach, where today's Friday and every day, every week on Friday, I execute my marketing campaigns, my discount campaigns, because it's Friday. So we need to get rid of this calendar view and get rid of a specific channel thinking, and actually look more around what is actually the data that we have available about our consumers. How can we leverage the data that is available today to truly build dynamic profiles? So go beyond leveraging profile-based information. How do we include behavioral information? And on top of these dynamic profiles, we then execute ultimately some more targeted communications. But we also need to look into these micro moments. So what are the services that we can apply around our business, around these micro moments? What great service can we deliver around these micro moments? And what kind of communication ultimately can we automate around these micro moments? Because when we talk about such a shift, then I think it's obvious that this type of communication cannot be executed in a manual way. Yeah? So we need to have some kind of automation in place. And that's truly when we typically respect consumers, when we have the integrity in place, and ultimately with the end goal to deliver marketing more in a holistic way across different channels in a very coordinated way. So that is what consumer-first marketing is, and ultimately that is the change that we help organizations to embrace in this digital world. So by doing so, we typically start by prioritizing marketing campaigns. We help our customers prioritize campaigns based on the biggest impact for their marketing communication, so that can be the highest revenue. And the second piece is around the ease of implementation. How easy is it to implement specific automated marketing programs across different channels. And the good news is, for you that are in this room here, you're not alone. And there is actually some help available. There is technology available that can ease your pain and can help you to move away maybe from a pure manual work, or for a more manual work, to ultimately leverage all of the data potential that you have available today, and on top build such rich behavioral dynamic profiles that you can move towards a more automated process and execute marketing in a much more automated way. So much about what is consumer-first marketing, what is that vision all about. So now is actually the opportunity where we all in this room can learn the best from the best, and where I would like to hand over to Sina, so that Sina, that you can provide a little bit about some of the great work that you and your team are delivering when it comes to a more relevant consumer-first marketing message with the Zalando end consumers. So without further ado, I would like to hand over to you, Sina.
Thanks a lot, Sebastian. Thanks for the nice intro. So, jump into the Zalando part. But so today we're having prepared a case study, but before we start with the case study, I would like you, and you're looking a little bit tired already, it's already late. Let's jump a little bit back in time. Can you remember what you did 8 years ago, 9 years ago? 2008, 2009, just after the financial crisis. What have you done? For which company have you worked for? Some pictures in your mind? So I guess many of you may have started looking for something new, or even started in a startup with people full of energy, having entrepreneurial minds, crazy ideas. And actually this is what I did. So 2009 I started my first job at Zalando, just graduated from university. And I started at this company, and I had actually no clue where this would bring me or where this would all bring the company. It was about 50 people selling shoes online. And at this time you could have thought, okay, that's kind of a crazy idea. Who actually would ever buy an emotional product online that you cannot try on? And yeah, you think you need to fit it on and so on. But if you think about Zalando today, there's so much more than shoes that may come to your mind. So it's maybe fashion, it's logistics, marketing, online shopping experience, and that's all what we are. So today, Zalando is known for a very broad assortment, for a lot of products, a lot of brands, a lot of processes and marketing behind. But this is not everything. So actually our vision goes far beyond selling products. Our vision is to connect people in fashion. And how do we do this? Actually, we offer a platform, a technological infrastructure to bring together different sides of the industry, to bring together brands, partners, the consumer, and we enable online and mobile commerce so that all partners can actually create value through our platform. And in everything that we do, is it the technological infrastructure to embed brands, to offer them marketing reach, to localize our assortment with products and services. In everything that we do, we believe that the key to success is always to think customer first. And this is also one of the main values of Zalando and of the company. So we have a nice internal slogan that is, always put yourself in the shoes of the customer. And this is not something that we invented 1 or 2 years ago. This was the claim that we ever lived since the beginning. And serving the customer and the needs, it's the core that we're living, and everything that we do is towards this mission. So customer. Just a few numbers. That actually the message here is not about the left side, but rather about the right side. So with more than 200 million visits a month and more than, or up to, more than 20 million active customers last year, combined with a very broad assortment of 200,000 articles and thousands of brands, and covering 15 countries, you can imagine that the customers are very unique, and every single person has its own needs, demographic characteristics, economic possibilities. And to serve those diverse needs of the customer, we have different channels to serve those needs. So starting from different kind of business models. So I don't know if some of you know our stylist service, Salon or Zalando Lounge. So we have different business models that cover customer needs, starting from the classical online shopper, but also going to the bargain hunter. And business models are not the only channels, but also marketing channels. And we're here to talk about direct marketing. And direct marketing is one of the most important channels for existing customers. You all know this. And this is also the perfect channel to gain insights about the customers and to make full usage of personalization. So actually, what is our mission here? Our mission is to satisfy the customer with the best adapted message ever, and ideally also over the most preferred channel. In our organization, we cover 3 different channels. So the classical email marketing, and very mobile first oriented. That's why we don't put it on a desktop, but rather on a mobile phone. Second, we do push notifications and also the classical postal mailings. So how do we achieve this mission? Easy calculation, maybe not too easy to implement. So we have to leverage all the data that we have available. On the one hand, we have tremendous amount of customer data. Purchase history, we have data about preferences, about categories they buy, brands they love, commodities. We have fashion styles and single products that the customer serve or put in their wish list, those customer data. On the other hand, we have a broad selection on fashionable content. Content means we have image campaigns, but we also have fashion advice contents. We have articles, editorial articles. We have single product images. We're talking about trends. So a broad range of things that you could communicate to your customer. And in the end, we want to have a personalized message and the best email message experience, let's say. Looking at this, you could go even one step further and say not only customer and content, but also ideally you would send the message to the best channel at the best time and best everything. Yeah? So this would be the very best ideal world. But today, let's keep a focus. Today we focus on customer content and the email marketing channel. So how are we moving towards the goal of the mission? Let's have a look back in time again. So implementing good working CRM and personalization, we adapted over the time, obviously, to the growing number of data that we had and also the customer needs. So we started with classical analytical CRM, implementing campaign tools. Then we moved over to more analytical tools like prediction models, data mining, product recommendation engines. And within the last years, we focused mainly on targeting content and also increasing the mobile usability. 2014, end of 2014, that was a year when we decided to partner with Selligent. And actually, this was the starting point on making full usage of targeted content. Okay. So here's a study, here's a case study. Together with Selligent, we wanted to have a tailored technical solution that very much fits to our needs and enables a user-friendly dynamic targeting possibility. Every solution, every solution starts with a problem or a challenge, and our challenge in this case is complexity. And whoever works in any kind of industry, e-commerce, big data environment, you know that complexity is all around. So in our case, just a few parameters that multiply complexity and the options to combine data and content. So we do, so just one example, we do have more than 100 content blocks, content snippets, which we combine in more than 200 templates. We have 15 countries, as said. We have a lot of campaign manager per country, so really people putting together emails. Obviously, we also have most of emails automated. We have integrated affinity scores and preferences. And if you multiply everything, you see the complexity in here. So we needed to get rid of the complexity, make it more tangible, make it more usable. And we defined our goal together with Selligent. We said, actually, we want to have a flexible data concept. And the benefits that this should bring was to be, on the one hand, really like user-friendly, easy to use, having a lean data processing, having high flexibility. So you can either use it or not. So also talking about always-on segmentation availability. So if you imagine you're setting up the email, you want to have all segments available, whether you're using them or not, and that is up to your decision. And now, looking at the solution, this is now the technical part. So in the past, we used to have big lists for each and every selection. Those lists contained information about the target group, information about product attributes, what kind of campaign is it, what customer is it, and then you can imagine if you're uploading those data, it's a whole bunch of maybe unused data which make the whole process and system very rigid. So we split it up. So we separated the receiver list, and we used the so-called extension tables, meaning that for every content possible attribute, like those campaign attributes or scores. So one example, we have one list about your favorite brand, for example, and then for each customer we have the information of its current favorite brand. This setup is very flexible, lean, and very fast. This is only for the geeks and not really readable. So this is how our campaign manager actually see the user face. Is very simple to use. You just choose the target group and then you put some filters on whatever information you want to use. So now the technical part is over, and you may think about, okay, and actually how does it look like? How do you use it? So that's the way how we use it. We have different templates, as I said, and different kind of message formats. In this case, it would be just a newsletter format. And then we're bringing together all the different information from the people that should get this message to the characteristics, and we're bringing everything together. And with this solution, we are able to have a broad range of combinations of contents, and we can cover different use cases. So imagine first you have a girl totally into sports, buying sport brands and rather looking for discounts. She could get the recent sports campaign and then product recommendations with reduced articles. But also have a look at this guy. So he's really into premium brands. He doesn't much care about discounts. He rather wants to have the latest collections of his premium brand. And then the youngsters buying over mobile, looking for fast fashion, always something new, but rather low price. And all those cases we are able to cover within one format with a low effort. And here a little bit, this is, no, back. So, this is how it looks like. This is our newsletter format, and as I said, in the complexity part, we have more than 100 content snippets, and each content snippet can be personalized. So the classical one is subject line. You just put a placeholder. You can fill in with name or city or whatever. But we also have other parts that you could either hide or show depending on what the status of a customer is. So, for example, sticky navigation, that's not only something that you can hide or show in case someone opens the email via app, for example, via mobile, and in case this is a mobile opening, you could show an app-only voucher, for example. And sticky navigation stands for a nice HTML feature, because if you scroll down the email, this navigation sticks, and it's not moving. And then another classical one, so dynamic teaser. So we do have a lot of image campaigns about latest trends, and in this case we could target depending on gender or also depending on category preferences. So one could see a premium teaser, one could see a sports teaser, one could see just new in trends. We're using product recommendations that's calculated via an engine. And what you could do here is not only using the same logic for every format that you have, but rather put some filters on top. So imagine I don't know, what is your favorite brand? So you could receive a mailing just talking about G-Star. And G-Star doesn't only have 3 products, so G-Star has hundreds of products. And in this case, it would be preferable that also the product recommended are personally recommended or sorted for you. And that's what we do as well. Or we put filter on discounts for people that are rather red price affine, or we put filters on sizes, etc. This one is also really nice. So this is not much about personalization, but rather about innovative HTML features. So this one is called a pop-up feature, very nice. So you can either desktop version you mouse over, or on the mobile version you click, and then a pop-up for the single product that we see in this image picture would appear and would lead you through directly to the website, and then you can buy these articles. Naja, this is also, the footer is also dynamic depending on country and if you're opening via mobile, for example. So now you saw a lot of personalization that we do in our emails, and you may ask, okay, sounds quite much already, but what's next? And you know, the journey doesn't end here. Some buzzwords which can come up and which you may have heard in other presentations today. So those are topics that could be interesting for us in the future. Machine learning, like semantic learning for subject line generation is something that we're going to test. Hypersegmentations, so let's say people buy running shoes every year, people are always in for a sneaker, so the collectors. We could think about every kind of niche segmentation, and then we're going to test and then automate. Channel affinities, because we cover 3 channels, and you could think, okay, then should we just address one channel, or should we send first push and then email? And this is something that we need to get some insights of in the future. And for most of the things, Selligent could help for finding a solution, because they have the technical environment, and the close collaboration would bring us there, most probably. So, I hope you learned something. That was the content, that was a case study about consumer first. And you see that, I mean, personalization in itself, you know that this is about consumer first. And as I in the beginning said, this is the early days claim that we live at Zalando, and that we're going to live in the future as well. And I hope you got some interesting insights, maybe some inspiration, and that was it from my side. So maybe now would be time for questions.
So actually, before we move into a Q&A session now, there's a number that stands out for me. So 95% of your marketing communication is now personalized. I think that deserves a round of applause. So well done, Sina, and well done, the Zalando team. That's really a huge number. So, okay, we have 5 to 10 minutes left. So we definitely want to get some questions for you. Now it's your chance.
Hello. You mentioned that there's lots of different marketing ways, lots of different approaches, and you were talking about the user-centered approach. Have you thought about where will the users be in 10 years? Because whenever you read where, for example, offices or games or whatever are, people will be in virtual reality. So is that something you are thinking about at the moment?
I mean, at Zalando, we always think about every kind of opportunity, and also about virtual reality. And we already have some innovation labs internally figuring out what we actually could do with this, and testing some use cases, and then maybe having something ready to start as soon as this gets more popular.
And I guess fashion is probably an area what is great when it comes to virtual reality, because there can be a lot of opportunities there. Okay, other questions?
Thank you. You showed some cool features. This pop-up, sticky. Better? To what extent is that also personalized?
No, the sticky one is more or less personalized in the sense of, depending on the content, what you show or not. So you always have 2 options. Either you use placeholders to place a personal information, like a personal voucher value calculated on your needs or on the target that we have with you, or in case, what I said, it could be an advertising for the app, for example, but this shows only up if you open via your mobile phone.
Thank you.
Other questions? So if you have no questions left, and if you're interested to learn more about how our technology can help you as a marketer to ultimately leverage your existing data potential that you have and build such very high and dynamic profiles as we just heard from Zalando. If you turn from your side left and go 50 meters straight, we actually have a 50 square meter booth, and we are happy to explore with you how you can potentially become a better consumer-first marketer. So thank you very much for your time, and enjoy the rest of the festival. Thank you.